You may have experienced some signs you're in love. Can't get someone out of your head? Daydreaming about them when you should be working? Imagining your futures together? These dizzying thoughts are just a few of the telltale signs you're in love. In fact, scientists have pinned down exactly what it means to fall in love. Researchers have found that the brain of a person in love looks very different from one experiencing mere lust, and it's also unlike the brain of someone in a long-term, committed relationship. Studies led by Helen Fisher, an anthropologist at Rutgers University and one of the leading experts on the biological basis of love, have revealed that the brain's in love phase is a unique and well-defined period of time. Here are 13 telltale signs you're in love. Thinking this one's special. When you're in love, more dopamine is released in the brain. When you're in love, you begin to think your beloved is unique. The belief is coupled with an inability to feel romantic passion for anyone else. This monogamy results from elevated levels of central dopamine, a chemical involved in attention and focus in your brain. Focusing on the positive. Being in love can alter the focus of a person's thoughts. People who are truly in love tend to focus on the positive qualities of their beloved, while overlooking his or her negative traits. According to the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology, relationships are usually more successful when partners are idealized. Those who are in love also focus on trivial events and objects that remind them of their loved one, daydreaming about these precious little moments and mementos. Being in love prevents people from focusing on other information. This focused attention is also thought to result from elevated levels of central dopamine, as well as a spike in central norepinephrine, a chemical associated with increased memory and the presence of new stimuli. Emotional instability. Those in love can experience a range of emotions. As is well known, falling in love often leads to emotional and physiological instability. You bounce between exhilaration, euphoria, increased energy, sleeplessness, loss of appetite, trembling, a racing heart and accelerated breathing, as well as anxiety, panic and feelings of despair when your relationship suffers even the smallest setback. These mood swings parallel the behavior of drug addicts. And indeed, when in love people are shown pictures of their loved ones, it fires up the same regions of the brain that activate when a drug addict takes a hit. Being in love is a form of addiction, and when this is taken away from someone, they can experience withdrawals and relapse. Intensifying attraction. Romantic attraction is associated with central dopamine. Going through some sort of adversity with another person tends to intensify romantic attraction. Central dopamine may be responsible for this reaction, too, because research shows that when a reward is delayed, dopamine-producing neurons in the midbrain region become more productive. Intrusive thinking. Intrusive thinking can come in many forms. People who are in love report that they spend, on average, more than 85% of their waking hours musing over their love object. Intrusive thinking, as this form of obsessive behavior is called, may result from decreased levels of central serotonin in the brain, a condition that has been associated with obsessive behavior previously. Men who are in love have lower serotonin levels than men who are not, while the opposite applies to women. The men and women who were in love were found to be thinking about their loved one for around 65% of the time they were awake. Emotional dependency. People have evolved to show signs of emotional dependency in a relationship. People in love regularly exhibit signs of emotional dependency on their relationship, including possessiveness, jealousy, fear of rejection, and separation anxiety. For instance, Fisher and her colleagues looked at the brains of individuals viewing photos of a rejected loved one, or someone they were still in love with after being rejected by that person. The functional magnetic resonance imaging showed activation in several brain areas, including forebrain areas like the cingulate gyrus that have been shown to play a role in cocaine cravings. Activation of areas involved in cocaine addiction may help explain the obsessive behaviors associated with rejection in love, the researchers wrote in 2010 in the Journal of Neurophysiology. Planning a future. The hormone oxytocin creates bonds between people. Longing for emotional union with a beloved, seeking out ways to get closer and daydreaming about a future together are also signs of someone in love. When serotonin levels begin to return to normal levels, the hormone oxytocin increases in the body. This neurotransmitter is associated with creating more serious relationships. Functional MRI studies show that primitive neural systems underlying drive, reward recognition and euphoria are active in almost everyone when they look at the face of their beloved and think loving thoughts. This puts romantic love in the company of survival systems, like those that make us hungry or thirsty. I think of romantic love as part of the human reproductive strategy. It helps us form pair bonds, which help us survive. We were built to experience the magic of love and to be driven toward another. Feelings of empathy. Feelings of empathy are heightened when in love. People who are in love generally feel a powerful sense of empathy toward their beloved, feeling the other person's pain as their own and being willing to sacrifice anything for the other person. In Fisher's study, the scientists discovered significant patterns in the brain activity of people who were in love. Their mirror neurons, which are linked to feelings of empathy, were more active in people who were in a long-term, loving relationship. Aligning interests. People in love may be brain chemical opposites. Falling in love can result in someone reordering their daily priorities to align with those of their beloved. While some people may attempt to be more like a loved one, people are attracted to their opposites, at least their brain chemical opposites. For instance, research found that people with so-called testosterone-dominant personalities were often drawn to mates with personalities linked to high estrogen and oxytocin levels. These individuals tended to be empathetic, nurturing, trusting and prosocial, and introspective, seeking meaning and identity. Possessive feelings. Strong feelings of attachment is a sign of love. Those who are deeply in love often experience sexual desire for their beloved, but there are strong emotional strings attached. The longing for sex is coupled with a desire for sexual exclusivity, and extreme jealousy when the partner is suspected of infidelity. Oxytocin is released during sexual activity. This hormone creates social bonds and develops trust. This attachment is thought to have evolved so that an in-love person will compel his or her partner to spurn other suitors, thereby ensuring that the couple's courtship is not interrupted until conception has occurred. This evolved as a biological need, enabling people in romantic relationships to focus their mating energy on a particular individual. Craving an emotional union. While the desire for sexual union is important to people in love, the craving for emotional union takes precedence. 64% of people in love disagreed with the statement, "Sex is the most important part of my relationship with my partner." Feeling out of control. A lack of control over your feelings is a common sign of love. Fisher and her colleagues found that individuals who report being in love commonly say their passion is involuntary and uncontrollable. Losing the spark. The dynamic of a relationship can change over time. Unfortunately, being in love doesn't always last forever, and psychologists say that the early euphoric stage lasts no longer than 3 years. It's an impermanent state that either evolves into a long-term, codependent relationship that psychologists call attachment, or it dissipates, and the relationship dissolves. We made extra efforts to produce such kind of informative videos. If you feel that this video gives you some kind of valuable information, then like and subscribe this channel. Share this video with your family and friends. Hit the bell icon, so that you will not miss any such kind of informative videos.